Yeah, the interesting thing is that I'm looking at it right now. It looks like the GBA version is actually closer to the Japanese version's original script. And I remember hearing that there's the actual Japanese script. It might be a little more serious, but I don't know that for sure. Maybe like it might be something to explore. I'm very curious how the Japanese VA was like too. Like that might be a fun one to just mess with, but I don't think we will do it on a stream. I feel like that's not really the point. I don't want to dwell on this game too much longer. Anyway, so that's the gender translation. So I already talked a little bit about the gameplay, and the inventory system is annoying. Seriously, it's a pain in the butt. I mean, I thought if you think Earthbound is kind of annoying, no. Lunar has managed to make it even more annoying, and like it's just not easy to do things. And honestly, like I don't know if the game like, and it makes the fights became a lot harder because you didn't have all the items in your inventory, so you had to plan. And like I mean, that was kind of cool. I know why they do that, but at the same time, managing the menus, it just takes so long and it feels so slow. It's just sluggish. It wasn't very fun. It wasn't very fun. I honestly think that probably hurt my enjoyment of the game, like because I had to do it so much. But I mean, I guess it's okay. The enemy encounter, like the difficulty curve of the game is actually quite high for most compared to most games. Like it's by medium to hard. It's tough if you've never played RPGs before, and like there's a lot of planning and you have to be really careful because enemies will kill you if you're not careful. And like you saw that tonight too. That final boss is no joke, and we were almost on death's door a few times. So this is not an easy like, and I was not like, if you choose not to grind, this game can be pretty tough. So this is a game where if you want a slightly easier experience, you could spend a bit more time to grind, or you could go like me and just maverick the crap out of everything and just fight most of the fights, and just keep going. And you can just bull rush like I did, but you can still beat the game as long as you're level 47, 46 by the time the final boss is here. So I guess to be fair, I think the game is tuned. It's tuned so it's just hard enough that challenge you, but it's not hard enough to like make it impossible. So I will give them props for like actually pacing it pretty well, although like it's tuned to be very tough. The only other things I don't like is the unskippable cutscenes. I know that's a modern convenience, so it's kind of hard. I can't really fault the game because that was kind of made before the age where that was possible. So that's okay. The other thing I don't like is the fact that there's no warning before you walk to a boss. Usually, you kind of have to guess. There were one or two places where like, hey, I really wish I could have healed my people and got my items ready, but nope, boss time. And then you just have to reload, and it takes a while, and this just sucks. And saving takes forever too. So that's another thing I don't like about it. So overall, the gameplay experience is okay. It's like the world map doesn't have any monsters. That's pretty cool. The other thing that I wanted to mention, yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I mean, like there's a lot of fetch quests and random dungeons. The dungeons are kind of boring too, honestly. Like they're not the most exciting dungeons. They have great music. I can talk all about the music later, but dungeons are boring. And then so it's not very exciting, and I had a lot of downtime when I was playing them. Anything else I can think of? No, I think I've covered all the bases. So, okay. It's passable. It's good enough that you feel pretty good and you can go through the game. The next thing I want to talk about is the graphics. So honestly, the sprites are kind of lame. I'm sorry. It's just that they took the Sega CD sprites and just kind of prettied them up a little bit. I honestly feel like that's one of the weaknesses, where we could have had actually better sprites. And then you could see that in the GBA version and the PSP version, where the sprites were more detailed and looked more like the portraits. That's one of the other things that kind of bothered me. So it feels kind of lazy. I don't know why. And like it's just sad. It's just a missed opportunity, honestly. And like all the sprites suffer as a result. So sometimes it's hard to. So there's a lot of recycled sprites, and it's kind of boring. Oh, I'm glad you agree with most of this review. Here's the thing. When Lunar came out, this is like nostalgia for a lot of people. I'll talk about that after I finish it up, but um, like honestly, the graphics, yeah, they're pretty lousy. Like they look like Super Nintendo. Like they look like they could have been on the Super Nintendo, honestly. And like this is a PlayStation 1. This is a next gen console. Well, back then it was next gen. And like there are other 32-bit games on the PlayStation and the Nintendo 64 and the Sega Saturn that just looked better. And I don't know why they didn't take the effort. Like they did so much effort on the FMVs. Like the FMVs look great. Like I know it's compressed to crap, but like you can help. Like back then, like this is how much the like that's how much like the let me think. That's how much the compress. That was like the bar none like compression. Like it, despite the compression, it looks still look pretty good. Like you can tell the art style looks nice and like even the character designs like they're a little bit like barring the really funky outfits for some of the females. Yeah, there's like when the females aren't good, they're wearing normal clothing. But oh, when they turn bad, like that clothing starts coming off, and you can start seeing lots of skin. And it's kind of weird. I don't know why that this game is all about like evil is sexy or something. I don't know. Understand? I don't understand that by my honestly, and it's kind of weird, but whatever. It's a minor quip. I'm like, why does a bad person have to be scantily clad? I don't understand that. So, and art like the art style looks great. The portraits look pretty good. But yeah, this is a sprite and the graphics are boring. The sprites are boring. Like it's such a it feels like a wasted opportunity, and like it's not. Like you compare this to like awesome games like like you can think of there's a lot of Sega Saturn games too, or you can think about like a game like Symphony of the Night. It's just night and day. Like Symphony of the Night, those were detailed sprites. That looks good. This game is just okay. Some cool monster designs are pretty okay too. It's still it like looks pretty cool, but for the most part, I didn't really see anything like that stuck out or like it looked that had like the charm or the powerful art style that you get with like let's think like Final Fantasy VI. The sprite work for that is epic and so good. Heck, this game could have run Metal Slug. Metal Slug has more detailed sprites than this, and that's an awesome game. So, wasted opportunity in my opinion. But like, I don't think it looks good enough that it doesn't detract from the experience. So that's about as much credit I can give it. And like, it was working with with great character designs that stand out. I will remember those character designs. I know, right? Hermio's sprite's hair was blue. See, like, it's just things like that that just don't matter. Ramus's hair was clearly not brown. Well, not blue. And his sprite was blue. It's just weird things. It's just, like, so lazy. Yeah, I don't understand it either. It's weird. Like, this is not the fault of the localizers. Yeah, and they couldn't have fixed it anyway. It's just this is the work of artists. Wasted opportunity. So that's unfortunate. That's probably like a weakness too. Let me think. Anything else? Oh, and the sprite effects take a while too. The 3D effects are not even that cool either, and they take long too. This is more into gameplay, but the spells like Final Fantasy 7 and 8, who also came out around a little before or around the same time. They also took a while, so that also kind of slowed the pace down for battles. Honestly, if I could fast forward battles in this game, I'd probably be a lot happier. That's another gameplay complaint. It is not a color restriction on the system. If even FF6 could pull that off, that it's not an excuse. FF6 was on a Super Nintendo that's far weaker than the PlayStation 1. So, and like the GBA has better sprites. The GBA compared to the PlayStation 1. That's crazy. If you look at the sprites work for the GBA, it's like, they actually matched the people better. And then you have the the sprite work in the PS1, it looks pathetic. And like the PSP, oh my gosh. It looks beautiful. I don't think NAS could probably do it, but it does look pretty it's very simple. And how sad too. What a waste. But honestly, at least it's not enough to crush the games, make the game not fun, no, unplayable, but it's still like not there, not completely there. The one other thing I wanted to mention. Okay, now we can move. I think that's about it for graphics, and now I can move on to sound, which the game actually excels at. Like, no, Nobuyuki Iwadare-san, that music is so good. Like I remember, like the awesome dungeon music, and like the fight music. I will always remember like those. Like this soundtrack is so good, and like if you have a chance, you should go get the soundtrack of it. And if you can't get it physically, get it digitally, because this is actually pretty. This is a pretty good soundtrack. Is it maybe as good as some of Noble's best work? I don't know about that. It's kind of a different style. It's very funky. It's very fun. And yeah, have a good night, Zeo Corvid. Thanks for sticking by all the way to now. And like this game excels. Like the sound effects are good enough, and then the let's see, the music is really good. Now let's talk about voice acting. Honestly, meh. A lot of it is not good. Like other than like some of the better people, like good night, Zeo Corvid. Jessica's is good. But I already knew that because I already knew her voice actress was good. Melissa and like she's the same as VA's Pop for Mail. Like the VA work, like Alex is okay. I mean, the interesting thing about Alex is that actually the voice actor was younger than 18. He mentions that in the outtakes, but it's true. He played this as a teenager. I think he's now doing live action TV now that he's not 18 years old in 1998. He was 18. He was like less than 18 years old in 1998. I think he's like my age or a little bit younger than me. So I was like, wow, he actually picked an actual teenager to voice a teenage boy. So it's Alex is okay. It's fine. Luna's is okay, fine. Like Galleon is interesting. I think he's pretty good actually. Like I think it works for his role. Jessica's works for her role. Mia's fine. I actually think Nash is alright. I thought Alex sounded pretty good. I mean, yeah, for the most part, he's actually like, barring the intro. I think the intro is actually the weakest thing I've heard, but other than that, he's pretty good. It works. It works. There's some weird accents that go around, like with Mel and Alex, not Alex, Lake, who we know is dying. Yeah, Alex, the voice actor for Alex was under 18 at the time, so he was a teenager. The other thing I can think of is, like, for the most part, the one thing that bothers me most is that the sound, the recording quality is so bad. And I don't know if it's just PlayStation 1 as a whole, and like maybe they just couldn't get around it. It could just be that the PlayStation 1 isn't capable. It just sounds really like, sometimes it was hard to hear. There's no subtitles, so you have to like pay attention to what's being said. And that's kind of annoying, but yeah, like the voice acting is most of it I think it could have been better. Like, I'm going to fanboy on Jessica's VA again. I'm like, oh, she was great. She's the best one. Null's, I think some of it just sounds like it could have been directed better. Like, probably these people are not that bad. It's just that director, I don't know what the director was thinking. Like, I don't agree with how it sounded in some places. So it's okay. It's not the best vocal performance I've heard as a whole. And like, we're probably going to play games that have even better vocal performances later. But yeah, I mean, that's about it for sound, I think. I mean, music, great. Sound effects, great. VA, okay. Mostly, for the most part, okay. Some Galleon's a pretty good one. Jessica's pretty good. Alex is okay. Not bad. Everyone else is just there. Nash is alright too. The other thing I can't think of, like Royce works, perfect voice for her.